All right, let's get ready for a lot of fragrance chat. I am very excited for today's video, not only because I enjoy talking about fragrance, and winter fragrances are something that I am just always so excited to pull up because honestly, some of these, this is going to be the only time of year that I will wear these. So it's almost like getting to pull out little treasures. So it's going to be so fun to talk to you about all of these. But also, I'm so pumped that I'm doing another collab with, I guess I'm going to call it the Cake Squad, Kara, Alicia, and Kelly. So I think we did a transitional, was it like spring into summer fragrances? Can't remember which seasons it was, but that sort of sounds familiar. So we all did a collab a few months ago talking to you about some fragrances, and it was super fun. And I think that it's great because when you have a collab of several fragrance lovers, you get to see little bits and pieces from people with all different tastes. And while I know that Kara and Alicia and I have things that we enjoy the same, I think we also have some different preferences. So I think it's going to be really fun to check out their videos as well. So thank you so much, Alicia, for gathering us up together to have fragrance chat. Of course, I will have these wonderful women's videos linked down below. So make sure that you check them out because I know that I love getting to hear their thoughts on fragrance. I do want to make note that within here, I actually chose out some of the scents that I love, and I also have some dupe scents or like alternatives, I guess I would say, or some that it's like, I actually like the dupe better. You know how this goes. I was just going through these and I'm like, wow, I love some of these scents so much that I decided to try a few different options. So I'm going to share that with you. So we have a lot to go over. So we're going to dive right into this. But if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. I am sure that I'm going to be doing another fragrance video this winter because truly there are just so many wonderful scents that I love wearing this time of year that this would be like an epically long video if I did them all, but I have about 16-ish scents here. So let's go ahead and start out with one that I would love to find a dupe for that is just as good as the scent. So I'm throwing this at the beginning of this video because if any of you love this scent as much as I do and you found a dupe that's just as good. Now, I've only tried a couple dupes, but there's just something to the magic of this one, and I just appreciate it. And it is the one that I pull out when I am ready to be bougie and just spray on my money. Just spraying on dollar bills because it's Tom Ford, y'all. I cannot be without Tobacco Vanille. I know it's a basic beat perfume. I know a lot of people have this perfume. I love it. And I have gotten samples of dupes before that it just isn't the richness of the magic. Now, I will say I have not tried any Middle Eastern fragrance dupes for this scent. So if you found one that you're like, oh my gosh, this is dead on, please let me know because I got this way before ever knowing about the beautiful Middle Eastern fragrance world. But there is just something to this scent. So I'm going to tell you right now, if it has tobacco in it, I want to try it. I want to get my nose on it because there's just something so uber sexy about that note to me. If it's blended well with other things, I just love it. So this, if I don't know, you've been living under a rock, it has tonka bean, vanilla, cocoa, dry fruit accords, and notes of sweet wood sap. This is off of the Tom Ford site, by the way. I always kind of let people know, I know some people love to go to Fragrantica to get the notes. I feel like that site, well, we all love it and some people love the visuals. I've found it to miss some notes and also put some notes in that I haven't seen brands talk about at all. So I always like to try to go to the brand site, even if I do throw up the images in case you just kind of like to see that. So this is obviously a spendy perfume. Now, I feel like you can find it on some of the discount sites for less. I just love it. There is something, I mean, you definitely get the vanilla, but there is something sort of root beery to me in this. I don't know if it's the sappiness. Maybe it's the dry fruit. It's sweet, but not sticky. You know, like so many fragrances now are getting super uber gourmand. It just has enough punch to it that it takes away that ooey gooey thing. And I'm not an ooey gooey lover. I'll tell you right now, I can almost guarantee that Kara's gonna have some ooey gooey. So check out her video because I know that she dips a little bit more into there. I think Alicia does a little bit too. That's not my jam. I don't like anything that's like uber foodie. uber like gourmand in that way. This one, it just hits the mark for me. Okay. Wow, if we spend that much time on every single one of these fragrances, I am going to be late for work. Okay, so let's keep going on that like tobacco vibe, right? So I have two scents from Dua that I want to talk to you about. And one I have the original and that this fragrance is duping, and the other I don't. So let's start with the one that I don't. So I picked up this scent strictly just off of the notes and the fact that it has honey and tobacco in the notes. So this is Honey Kiss Tobacco. This is inspired by Tobacco Honey by Guerlain, and I have not smelled that one before. So there's so much in this that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be for me. So we have honey, cloves, anise, tobacco, tonka bean, vanilla, sesame, agar wood, and sandalwood. So this is definitely a rich, spicy honey. And I love most honey scents as long as they aren't like too funky, animalic. I like that richness that honey has. Like, I don't love super sugary, marshmallowy, like confectionery things, but I do really like a deep honey, like a molassesy. It just feels like it's warm. This is good. The clove, the anise is great. Tonka bean for me can sometimes be a little bit of a miss if it's really kind of, sometimes tonka gets so powdery that that's all I can get out of it is powder. This just, it softens this out a little bit. The sesame is an interesting note in here. It's really good. I really like this. I haven't smelled the original, so I can't tell you how it is, but this one on Dua it's sold out right now, but it's usually like 55 at full price. I can tell you right now, Guerlain is going to be much more expensive. So I'm really excited to have this one. Now, this one is similar, but so different. You'd think like, well, they seem to have some of the same notes. So this is Honey Lace to Back, and this is actually a dupe for Back to Black by Kilian, which I have, and I just got this little like refill vial, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I think I was talking to Jennifer from All Feisty, and she was talking about scents that she really enjoyed. I don't think that she sent me a sample of it, but we were talking about it, and I'm like, well, now I have to try it, but maybe she did send me a sample. At any rate, I had to get a little bit of it. I was not going to splurge on the full-size price, but I wanted to try it, and I do really like it. So in the dupe here, in Honey Lace Tobacco, we have notes of bergamot, white honey, raspberry, blue chamomile, cardamom, coriander, saffron, tobacco, cedarwood, vanilla, almond, vetiver, cistus, labdanum, patchouli, and oak moss. So this is definitely more, it has a little bit more of an herbal note to it that I think some people will really enjoy and some people won't. I think that this pushes it. It's still very unisex, but I think that this one definitely gets pushed a little bit more into the masculine just because that coriander, the vetiver, and the things like the labdanum, the patchouli, the oak moss, it just gets a little bit more of that like herbal punch to it, but it's still so sexy. It definitely has more of like an oriental vibe to it. It's really good. Now, I will say that after having both of these, I think I did a review where I sort of talked about these scents and how I felt compared to the originals. So now, after having both of these for a while, this one's had time to macerate. I have to say, I will enjoy having this. I'll probably layer these together, but I just won't ever pick this one up because I actually like this one better. I think it doesn't have quite as much of that herbal punch to it. It's a little bit less, I don't want to say bitter, but I'm going to say bitter. And this one lasts longer. I think that this one lasts longer, which of course you hear that a lot about Dua fragrances. And of course this one is 55 at full price. I think I honestly paid, oh, I think I at least paid $40 just for this little guy. So, yeah, definitely happy to have found this one. I think that if you, okay, I'm going to pull both of these out since we're going to pull out all the tobacco-y things we have. So I'm going to say that Tobacco Vanille, out of the three of these, is maybe the sweetest just in, I get that like cola note almost, like that soda-y, root beery, more root beer than cola. So I'm going to say that this is the sweetest, but the Honey Kiss Tobacco, the Guerlain, is, well, the Guerlain dupe, is more of that rich honey, and I think some people might consider that sweeter, but it's like a deeper sweet, whereas the least sweet of the three, if you like an herbal but you want a little bit of honey, you might want to try the honey lace tobacco. So definitely enjoy these. Happy to have them all. Okay, so since we're here, we might as well talk about the other Dua scent that I have in this lineup. So I know that I said that I don't usually go into the foodie gourmands. This is an exception for me. This is Puffletuft. This is, of course, a dupe for Hufflepuff from House of Sillage. I have not smelled that one. This smells so good. This is definitely a scent though. This is why I'm so excited to talk about this right now, because fall and winter is the only time I would ever wear this one. It is definitely in that very sweet, very foodie thing. Like, it's definitely foodie. I love the fact that it combines the citrus with some sweetness. It has some depth to it. I really like this one. We have Italian lemon, coconut, peach, gardenia, freesia, sambac jasmine, bourbon vanilla, vanilla bean, and Virginia cedarwood. So I think it's that really great blend of the lemon, the other fruits, a little bit of the floral, but I think the floral in this just keeps it from getting too on the nose food scented. You know what I mean? Like photorealistic, if you will. Like this just keeps it a little bit more into a fragrance realm. The woodiness at the bottom. Oh, this just smells so good. I love this. This is definitely something though that I think could be so sweet. Like I said, I'm a hairdresser, so when I'm at work, I am literally like, I mean, sometimes like 6, 8 inches away from someone, right? So, but like, let's say a foot. I would not wear this to work because it could be so sweet that it would just be like sickly for some people. And I think especially like scents like this can be something that people are either going to be like, oh my God, you smell good, or they're going to kind of be like, ugh. So I really tend to wear this one when it's a day where honestly it's just me, or it's something where it's Jeremy and I, because I know that scents like this, he really has a wide, we actually like some of the same scents, but he really has a wide variety of what he likes as far as like things on me, but I think he really enjoys florals and the sweeter things, like the more like girly, sexy things. So this is one that I know that he really liked. So anyway, Puffletuft, definitely a win. The 34 milliliter bottle is $55. I do have a discount code, by the way, if you ever do want to shop Dua. I'll have the link down below, but they do sales a lot, so I always try to like alert people of when those are, but all three of these to me are winners. All right, so we are in the realm of sweet, so why don't we sort of stay there for a little bit? I've got such a variety here, but we're kind of on those sweet notes, and I have some more dupes for you. So I picked this one up a long time ago. I'm not going to stick on the comparison to the original for too long because I talked about these in that video, but I have a couple scents from Juliana's perfume that, well, actually I have 3 in this video. So here we have Aurora and we have Aurora Extrait. So these are actually dupes for Baccarat Rouge 540 and Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait. And I have to be honest, I should probably have just put one of these in here, but I can't. I don't know how to do it. So I'm going to talk to you about both of these. So when we talk about the Aurora, the notes of this are violet, jasmine, saffron, praline, ambergris, and amber, vanilla, and oak moss. So again, we have that praline, that amber, that vanilla, but you do get that saffron in here. Although this was probably one of the first fragrances that I tried that I knew had saffron in it. And this is one where I don't get a leathery saffron from. And I was like, oh, I love, well, Baccarat Rouge 540 or Aurora. I'm like, I love that. So when I saw saffron in some other scents, I was like, I'm going to get that. And I was like, this smells like suede or like leather. And I never knew that that was something that could come out. I don't get that in this. I get just that rich warmth. Like I get the feel of suede, but not the scent of suede, if that makes sense. So this is very lovely. Now, just to clarify, all of Juliana's perfumes, as far as I know, are extrait as far as concentration. We are talking about the difference between Aurora and Aurora Extrait. It is the inspiration off of the two different scents from MFK, right? So in this one, you have the bitter almond, saffron, Egyptian jasmine, cedar, ambergris, woody notes, and musk. So when we think about the extrait notes versus the original, let's say, this one, I had to pull out the scent strips because I was like, I have to compare these side by side. So to me, the extrait version is more bitter, and not just because of the almond, but it has a little bit more of a woody and toasty. Like I can almost get, it doesn't say, it's not listed in here, but I can almost get a bit of like pink pepper or something in here, like a little bit of that spiciness out of this one. Whereas in the original Aurora, I get definitely more of that like praline. It's a little bit sweeter, a little bit deeper. They're both good. If you want something that's not as sweet, I would go with the extrait. If you want something that's a little bit more, like I would say that this one almost, if we're gonna say that like unisex is a 6 on a scale of 1 to 12, this one's gonna be a 7, you know, like leaning a little bit more towards masculine. This one's gonna be a 5, leaning a little bit more into that feminine realm. Hope that helps. Just looking at these now, I will say that these are both scents that are pretty popular, and Juliana's does like smaller batches, so you will find them going in and out of stock quite a bit. These are also scents that, just like with Dua, you're going to want to let them macerate for a while because they are smaller batched. So I have definitely found that, especially now after having these, I've had both of these for at least a year now, at least. So I just love them. They're delicious, but you do want to give them a little bit of time. But like the 40 mLs of the extrait is $40, $39. What? $39. And that is for the 40 ml bottles. I have the original like square bottles. They've sort of changed everything up, and I don't remember how many mils these are. So, but 40 mils for $40, you got to be kidding me. That's great. Okay, it is so funny because after just smelling all of those like powerhouse fragrances, going into this next one, it almost smells like a skin scent, and it is not at all. I just feel like I have just like completely blown out my nose by like smelling all of these like powerhouse scents at first. So let's talk about Dulce from by Rosie Jane. So I have this both in the perfume and in the perfume oil. I definitely think for longevity's sake, it's nice to have both to cocktail, which of course makes it more expensive. But this scent, like I said, it's so funny because after smelling all these others, this seems a little bit more skin scent like. This is great if you love vanilla, but you want something that's like cozy, not quite so sweet. Now, I would swear that when this came out, it also listed notes of chocolate or cocoa to it. So now on the site, it says vanilla, hinoki wood, and nude musk, but I would swear that they talked about it having chocolate in it. And I do get that. It's like vanilla with like a little bit of chocolate, but it is not, like I said, it's not chocolate cake. It's lovely. It's like a light vanilla with like this is dusting. This is the dusting of cocoa powder over the top, and it's airy. Like it's like a cool, it's like sipping vanilla bean hot cocoa on a cool day. Yeah, I really like it. You definitely get more vanilla than cocoa, but I know that the cocoa is in here. So I absolutely love this one. This is definitely cozy vibes for sure. If that's your vibe, you would really like this one. All right, so now we're going to talk about another scent that has a cocoa note to it. This is definitely darker, more mysterious, a little bit more bitter. This one was limited edition, but if you have it in your collection, you need to pull it out. Also, if you don't have this in your collection and you love something that's a little sweeter, there is another option right now, but let's talk about this one. So this is, of course, blend number 83 from Imaginary Authors. This was like a, I guess I would say a little collab with Absolute Vodka and Kahlua, because this is meant to be an espresso martini scent. So you definitely get all of the notes. You get all of the notes that you'd get in an espresso martini. What I love about this is definitely a drier chocolate. It is not, again, it's not like chocolate fudge syrup going down the candy mountain. You know what I mean? Like this is sexy, mysterious. So on the bottle here, the brand lists dark chocolate, sugarcane rum, Arabica coffee, velvety foam, benzoin, night musk, and decadence. Of course, Imaginary Authors definitely is like a storytelling fragrance house. This is definitely, this is just that sitting in a velvet, I'm picturing a green velvet booth at some little dark club, and you're sipping your espresso martini, and it's not one of those overly sweet, sickly ones. It's like it's got just enough booze and just enough chocolate and lots of coffee, which I love. Mm. It's so good. It's so good. So this also, because when I met up with Kara and some other creators in Vegas when they were out for the Creators and Friends event and I was out for work, we met up one night at Vanderpump and we had espresso martinis together. And this will just always, this will just always make me think of that night, because while those espresso martinis had a whole other dessert sitting on top with like the beignet and all the chocolate and everything, the martini itself was not overly sweet, and I just get those vibes, and it's great. It's great memories. So it's so funny, like unexpected, but that actually was just like a day or two ago, a year ago, because the like reminder came up on my like, you know, timeline thing. Anyway, now I know that right now Imaginary Authors, I think it's still available, but they did a fragrance where it's sort of like a whiff of waffle cone and Blend 83 kind of like combined, like chocolate waffle cone. And that sounds like something that would be way too sweet for me. But if that's more your jam, you would like that more than this one, just because like this one is, again, it's not sweet at all. So I just love it. And that's exactly why I love it. And I think it's unique. You know, I like those cocoa notes. I really like the boozy notes, but sometimes it can just be overly sweet. Okay, so we are not doing good with being brief here. So we're gonna talk about a sample that I have right now, and I came this close to purchasing this one. Black Friday, the Navitas sales really weren't drawing me in because it was like gift with purchase kind of things, and I was like, I don't need any of that. I don't need any of that. And then they they did on Cyber Monday, they offered a higher discount, and I was like, I was very tempted. I didn't pick it up just because I have so much fragrance right now, and I have things that are along the lines of this, but honestly not as good as this one. So this one is Lost in a Dream, and like I said, I just have the sample right now, but this scent, it is like the best cozy, milky, well-balanced, unique fragrance. Oh, it is just so good. So the notes in this are milk accord, orange, bergamot, and cinnamon on the top. You have fig milk, almonds, croissant accord, coffee, marshmallow, jasmine, orchid flower, and amberwood in the heart notes. The base notes are tolu balm, Madagascar vanilla, tonka bean absolute, sandalwood, oakwood absolute, and musk. That sounds like a lot, doesn't it? It smells like a lot. And I don't mean like in an overwhelming way, in a deliciously creamy. It is one of the creamiest scents I've ever smelled. The main reason that I didn't pick this one up is I feel like I have a scent right now that gives me a little bit of the vibe. It's just not as refined. So if you have smelled Commodities milk, some of the notes are the same. I mean, you definitely get that milky accord. To me, Commodities milk smells a little bit like cereal milk. Like if I've had Cinnamon Toast Crunch and the milk that's left inside, this smells, it has some of those notes, but it has so much more. It's just so much more refined. It's so blended. You get a bit more of the fruits in there. You get a little bit more of those balanced florals, the woodiness. It is just so freaking good. It's so freaking good. As I'm sitting here talking about it, I'm like, you should have just picked it up. You should have just picked it up. But you know what? There are always sales. There are always sales. Not always, but like, it's not like I'm never going to be able to get it again. So I just was like, yeah, I had already decided after seeing the Black Friday sales, I was like, okay, not drawn in. And I had just sort of like let it go. I had released it. And by the time the better sale came around, I hadn't committed to it anymore. So now I feel like it might have been the one that got away, but I'll be able to get it at some point. So definitely get your nose on it. You can get some discovery sets from Navitas if you haven't before. I have a discovery set that I would be willing to do a review of. If you would like to see it, let me know. I'm really considering that because there are some very interesting fragrances in there. Okay, so we gotta keep going along here, people. All right, this is one that I got in a olfactive subscription. I got a little sample of it, had to get it. This is from Inika, and this is Jaipur Chai. So if you like creamy yet a little bit spicy scents, if you like chai, if you like ginger, you need to try this. So the notes here, the top notes are black tea, cardamom, cinnamon, clove. The middle notes are rose, cedarwood, and guaiac wood, and the base notes are vanilla, cream, suede, and musk. Now, the suede in this, again, that's not something that I usually like. It is, again, the feeling of suede, that sort of like soft, velvety, buttery feel, but it's not the scent. Like this to me, it smells like if you've had milk steeping with chai spices, you've got the ginger in there. I don't get rose. Like I don't get that in the scent of it, but I know that it's there just because it's so balanced. This also isn't, cinnamon can sometimes overtake a fragrance. Like you can have other notes in a fragrance, and if there's cinnamon in there, it can just like bam, like just like punch you in the face. You don't get that from this. If anything, it's the ginger that punches you a little bit. Oh, this is so good. It's so delicious. It makes my mouth water, and not in a foodie way, in a creamy, delicious, holy crap. I love this one so much. And actually, the packaging is really pretty on this. Like, I think that this would be a lovely scent to give to someone if those sound like notes that you think that they would enjoy. I just think, the bottle is pretty, the packaging was really pretty. I love it. So glad to have it. Definitely one. I purchased a lot of scents from Olfactive when I had that subscription, which is why I don't have it right now, because I really don't need to get drawn. I don't need to get drawn into any more fragrances, but I really did enjoy getting that one. No regrets. So let's roll back into commodity. I know that I was just talking about milk, which is one that, honestly, milk is not a scent, by the way. I'm just going to kind of roll back because I was talking about Lost in a Dream from Navitus. I have milk. I have like a little mini, and then I have like a little guy that I think is like honestly 20 mLs. That one is just a little bit more food forward. Again, it's that cereal milk thing for me. And I think I don't even think cinnamon is listed in that one, but that's what I get from it. So it's one that I like to layer with things, but it's not one that I would ever necessarily purchase, which is why I do like Lost in a Dream. But a lot of my commodity scents I do really like, gold definitely being one of them. So I'm going to talk to you about both gold expressive and gold bold. So I have the full size of gold expressive right now. This scent has top notes of juniper berries, then you get the vanilla and sandalwood, and then down at the bottom you get amber. Sorry, that was like on the cap. So this scent is, I like it. The interesting thing is, before commodity sort of like went out of business and was repurchased and brought back to life, I bought a travel size of gold. And at that point, they didn't have these scent spaces. It was just like each fragrance had its own thing. There was no like personal spaces. There was no bold spaces. This smells different to me than the original gold. And I feel like this, I don't know if the original one had juniper berry, but this one I bought it because I was like, yay, it's back. I can't wait to get gold. It smells a little different. The juniper berry at the front sort of threw me off. It doesn't stay very long, and I think it keeps it from getting too cloying. So I can really appreciate this one. But when I first put it on, I'm like, oh, can't wait for like the next 15 minutes to like pass by, so that I love the smell of this. But then you get into that woody, creamy note, and it is just lovely. So it's one that I think if you like an amber scent that isn't too sweet, because sometimes they're paired with things that are just so sickly sweet, this is a lovely one. And honestly, the reason that it doesn't get overly sickly sweet is because of those juniper berries. So while like the way it hits my nose at first is not something that I love, I do appreciate the blended balance of it. So it's definitely one to check out if that's intriguing you. Now let's talk about gold bold. So that's the one that I actually have on today. And in the notes of this, again, the very first like top notes, is not something that I would necessarily think is going to be something that I'm going to enjoy, but I think that it keeps the scent so intriguing. So when we look at the bold version, the top note is going to be saffron, which again, I said that if it has that leathery, suede scent to it, it's not something that I love. There's something about the way that this is blended, though, that it does make it that uber sexy scent for me. So then we have nutmeg and vanilla, and then at the bottom we have sandalwood, amber, and patchouli. So just like Alicia, I am not a patchouli lover, but I find that oftentimes when there's patchouli in the bottom notes of something, it helps it last a lot longer, and it just tends to round everything out. It almost like is like the lasso that sort of like pulls all of the scent notes together. So I think that's what this one does. Now, I bought a scent sampler of different fragrances last year, and I was like, gold plus is going to be the one that I get because it was like the greatest deal in there. But I really do like it. I haven't picked it up yet because I'm one of those ridiculous people that like hoards my scent coupons, but I am I am going to do that. So if that sounds like something that you would enjoy, where it gets a little bit more into that spicy amber, I would definitely check it out. Now, one of the great things is that Commodity offers scent space samplers. So I would imagine that gold is one that's available. I'll make sure to link it down below. I'll have all of these linked, of course. You can usually get samples of the personal, the expressive, and the bold versions of each scent. So if you love ambery fragrances and you're like, oh gosh, I just don't know which one I would really want. So for much less of a financial commitment, you can just get the sampler. And I think that that's a really great way to go. Honestly, Commodity has such fun discovery sets because they have a little bit of everything in like their bigger discovery sets that it's a great way to go and would be a really fun gift for someone. Or a fragrance party, like a date night, a few couples getting together and like smelling scents. I wish I had more fragrance friends close by. I would love to do that. That would just be my jam. So anyway, I will have them linked down below. Okay, we're going to talk about a scent that I think that this might be my most pricey scent in here, because I think that this is more pricey than the Tobacco Vanille, but that could just be me blocking that out of my mind, and which is why I only have it in Scentbird. So this is Initio's Side Effect. This is honestly one of the sexiest fragrances I have ever smelled in my life. It is so good. So I talked about cinnamon being one of those things that can kind of like punch you in the face and overtake a scent. This is one that is fairly heavy in the cinnamon, but it isn't in a red hots cinnamon kind of way. And that's because pretty much almost all of the all of the notes in this one are pretty strong. So cinnamon doesn't necessarily win out because everything else is just as strong. And that sounds like overwhelming, but it's not. So we have cinnamon bark, rum, tobacco, saffron, sandalwood, and hedione. I think that's how you pronounce that. So this for me is spicy, it's sexy. Now I know that I was like, I don't like it when saffron comes off leathery, but in this scent, you almost need that to like balance it out. So I have two scent strips here that I'm smelling because I do also have Juliana's Perfumes dupe or inspired by scent, Boozy Effect. So I'm just gonna say that a 50 ml of the Initio is $240. That's a lot of money. This one is honestly probably in like the $50 range. So definitely very different. They're close, but there is something. The Initio one is just a little bit more blended, and I've had this long enough that it's like macerated to like full potential, I'm sure. This one, the original just has a little bit more of a blend. It has a little bit more, honestly, the saffron in this is a bit stronger, which I think kind of makes sense. Like that's just such an expensive ingredient that to do it well, you can't do it for a lot less expensive. I know that a lot of these brands, it's the name of them and it's a lot of the packaging, a lot of the all of that kind of stuff that ends up bumping the price up, but there is at some point where you're using ingredients that like are just going to make a difference, and I think that that's what happens here. I would love to find a great dupe. I don't know if Dua has one, but I will at some point. I will splurge and I will get a full size I keep hunting on like Joma Shop and things like that, just waiting to see side effect on there, but I never see it. I've seen some other Initio scents, but oh, this is just so freaking good. If you like a spicy, like suede deliciously sexy, badass scent, side effect is it. It's it. This is going to be my last sort of like sexy, spicy kind of thing. I do have a couple other scents that are so far on the other side that I want to share those at the end of this. This is obviously my vibe. It's like deep, sweet, sort of like toasty, caramelized sweet scents. And then we have the spicy, sexy thing, the mysterious. And then I have a couple others that are like offshoots that we're going to talk about. So we're going to get into those in just a second. But I do just have to give you guys an update because I talked about this one. So I recently talked about this in a haul video, and I was saying that I think that I'm going to end up liking this one a lot, but it just wasn't quite there for me. It needed to macerate a little bit longer. And I have to tell you, it's probably been 3 weeks since I've done that video, maybe even 4. I filmed it a while ago, but it didn't take long, and I was like, oh, the magic is happening. The magic is happening, because I got this based off of videos from Alicia and also Jamie from Not Another Perfume channel. And I was like, if both of those ladies like it, I need to pick this one up. This is Paris Corner's Riff a Cat, by the way. So this is, I believe, supposed to be a baby cat dupe. I've never smelled baby cat. I'm like, I just think that this one has so much potential, but it needs to blend a little bit more. And it has already started doing that. And I wore this like 3 days in a row, which is a lot for me. That barely ever happens. So I was like, okay, I just have to update now because I'm really loving this one and the price can't be beat. So we have top notes of black and pink pepper, black pepper, elemi and pink pepper. Wow, that's a lot of pepper. This is off of the Paris Corner website, by the way, which is not usually a thing for me. Black pepper and I aren't friends, and I think Alicia usually says the same things, but this is just really blended well. So then we have olibanum and saffron, and then we have the base notes of bourbon, vanilla, suede, and cedar. I guess I can't say that I don't like suede anymore. What do you guys think? Like, it just can't, I just don't want to smell like a cowboy. You know, I don't want to smell like a cowboy. This does not smell like a cowboy. This smells like dark, mysterious, sexy. It's really good. It's really good. So it's already, like I said, I cannot wait to see how this one goes because it's already started getting there. So I'm very glad to have this one. I like also that this one, while it lasts a really long time and it really just like sort of like becomes part of you, it's not overly strong. Like, honestly, I've given you guys some bangers in this video. This is long lasting, but it's a little bit more smooth than some of the other ones. So definitely one that I appreciate. All right, so coming up on winter, I had to put this one in here. This is a scent that just makes me think winter all the time. Of course, this is a Prey from Ellis Brooklyn. Now, it's very interesting because I'm gonna try playing and layering with this one a little bit this winter. So I love this. This to me is being out in the woods. You can kind of smell, it's not smoky, but you can smell warm wood in this. It's delicious. So we have the top notes of saffron, juniper berries, and cardamom. In the mid, you have soft suede, bourbon, violet, praline, guaiac wood, and labdanum. And the dry down is musk, vanilla, patchouli, cedarwood, and sandalwood. So I don't get a lot of floral. I don't get a lot of, like, the praline that's in here probably just keeps it from being overly like medicinal wood, because I totally get like the labdanum, I get the guaiac wood, I get the patchouli in here. Definitely the juniper berries when you first put this one on. I just think it is so unique. Here is the thing. I have never gotten a compliment when I'm wearing this one, and I don't really care. I don't really care. But I feel like this leans so masculine that I would like to find a way to soften this out a little bit and have it be not quite so mysterious lumberjack. Like, I like it. I just think it's so unique. And sometimes it's like, I don't relate to the story of it, but I love the scent experience, if that makes sense. So I love it and I will continue to wear it, but it's just so interesting. Every time I wear it, I'm like, oh, I just love this. This is just so fun. I think this is one that leans more into that fun fragrance world. You know, like sometimes when you love fragrance, you start to get into the little bit more unique blends that the typical person might be like, that's a bold choice. And I think that it is a little bit more into that bold choice, but we're gonna have to try cocktailing it with a couple things. Okay, we have one more scent, and this is like a total offshoot from all of these others. This is definitely getting into a more fruity floral, but there's just something so sexy to this that it's a fun one to wear this time of year, and the price is stupidly ridiculously low if you can find it. If you can find it. So this is one that again I purchased because of Jamie from Not Another Perfume Channel. I tell you what, that girl has made me spend a lot of money. Not made me. She's encouraged me. I don't know. I just enjoy her content, so I'll have her channel linked down below as well. But this is one that it just sounded so intriguing and it had notes in here that I always love. So this is Nerissa from Maison Alhambra, and this is Nerissa Rose Musk. So this is a dupe for a Narciso Rodriguez fragrance, and oh man, this is just so nice. And if you are someone who you love a good floral, you like something a little bit more fruity, you're in the wintertime, you're not gonna lean into sweeter, spicier scents. You just want like the darker side of juicy. This is one for you. So this has pink pepper, plum, and bergamot. And then in the middle notes, we have rose, tuberose, and musk, and the base note is vanilla. Now I will tell you that I'm getting these off of Fragrantica because I'm having one heck of a time finding like original notes. But this is, oh my gosh, it is rose without being like chewing on a bouquet. It is fresh without smelling like cleaning products. The plum in here it gives it that dark sexiness. I like pink pepper in a scent. You get the vanilla at the bottom to kind of round it out and the musk, but this is definitely a deep, rosy, juicy, fruity fragrance with a splash of extra citrus at the front. This actually makes me think of the RMS and Heretic collab Scarlet Moon, but this has obviously the rose in it, and then it's like a darker, more floral version of that scent, because that one, it's definitely like that burst of citrus. This, it's like that kick in the face that I get from that at the beginning of that scent, with the like sexy, girly, beautiful vibes of the rose and the plum. Like this is so nice. I will definitely enjoy wearing this one this winter. This also, I mean, this is kind of like a any time of year, but I'm going to enjoy wearing this one right now. Now, because it does have rose, like you can definitely smell the rose in here. Rose is another one of those scents that people don't always love. So I don't know that I would wear this to work, but I would have no problem like wearing it out and about. This is great. This will be great for date night. Jeremy loves rose. I don't think I've worn this one around him yet. I'll have to do that for our next date. Not that I have plans that we're going on a date anytime soon, but maybe I'll just be like, babe, we need to go on a date because I have a scent that I want to wear for date night. I always love the excuse. Okay, so I kind of want to just like check here. It has been a long time. My camera has shut off twice. So this is, even if there were fragrances that are hidden somewhere on the chaos of my vanity, subscribe if you want to see more fragrance chatter, because I'm sure I'll be talking more scents with you all soon. But what I would love is for you to talk to me. Let me know some of your favorite winter scents, or if there are certain notes that you notice that you gravitate towards in the winter. I would really be curious. As I'd mentioned, I'll have all of these fragrances listed down below. Some of these, you know, tend to go in and out of stock, or if I find it available on a couple sites, I will make sure to have that listed down below just so that you are able to find options. So thank you so much for joining me for today's fragrance video. I had a lot of fun. I am overloaded with scent, but I had a lot of fun. So make sure that you also check out Kara and Alicia's videos. I cannot wait to see. It's dangerous. It's dangerous, but it's also fun. So I will have them linked down below along with Jamie as well. And don't forget to give this video a like on your way out. Again, please let me know what you love wearing through the winter. That is going to be it for today, lovelies, and I will see you really soon.